First solo album in 30 years. Why so long?
Just really collecting myself together after so much loss, and coming to the realization that you've got to seize life. It's not gonna seize you. You have to make things happen for yourself, and nature takes its course. If you listen to the album in abstract form, you will hear my personal insight in abstract form of everything that ever happened. Things I wanted to empty out on, you know. Star-Crossed Lovers is very special. That's dedicated to my wife.
Your sons, who contribute more than a verse to the album as well. What's it like working with them?
It wasn't like that. You have to be silly, because if you're not silly, you won't come up with the creativity, you know. Empty your mind out of what's actually real and painful and get silly, you know.
Was that what it was like with your brothers as well?
Yeah.
I mean, that must be incredibly poignant for you.
I think it is, yeah. I think it is. And maybe I just enjoy being in a trio, you know. It always works really well for me.
You mentioned, obviously, the great loss that, you know, that we've all witnessed from afar as fans as well, but obviously, you know, just struck into the heart of your world.
Yeah.
And there must have been a point when you sort of sat down, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm assuming too much, where you're looking at a blank piece of paper and thinking, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to write again.
I think for a long time I really didn't want to write again. For many, many months, I just felt like, well, I guess that's it. Put the guitar away and watch TV. And I was doing that for a long, long time until my wife walked in and said, just do what it is you've always done, but get on with it, you know. And that sort of triggered it for me and channeled me back into wanting to write songs, wanting to perform, you know.
It all started originally around the time that my Uncle Robin was really sick. My dad hadn't done anything in a while. You know, when Robin passed away, he really wasn't in a happy place. And so the only way to get him there was to play music. And so I would just kind of occasionally just come over to the house and be like, hey, let's strum around, just for fun. And just without any real goal in mind, just to play music. And he sort of felt like, well, maybe I should do a show, he said to me. Like, you know, maybe that'd be a good idea. And I said, yeah, I think that'd be a great idea, actually. And he goes, okay, well, I'll only do it if you do it with me.
You know, I was mainly in a group and I enjoyed being in a group. It wasn't necessarily, you know, really in truth, every one of us wanted to be a solo star. And I think that's what makes up a group anyway. But I got a lot of solo satisfaction from working with Barbra Streisand. I got a lot of solo satisfaction from working with so many different artists like Dionne Warwick or Diana Ross, you know. So it wasn't like I wasn't a solo artist. I was still getting my rocks off.
But you mentioned Barbra Streisand, Diana Ross. I mean, no end of fantastic collaborations. Guilty is my soundtrack. And
wow.
Guilty 2, of course.
Yes, that's a nice album as well. And, you know, she's a perfectionist. And truthfully, I think she prefers making films to making music.
Really?
Oh, yes. But then she is a filmmaker. This woman is, what is it? A Renaissance person. She can put her talents into anything she wants.
I remember seeing something that you'd said in an interview about Barbara, but also about performers like yourself. It's a massive ego that sits alongside a massive insecurity as well.
Well, I've never known an incredibly famous artist that had self-esteem. So that's a sort of a common denominator, you know. Michael was the same, and we got to know each other pretty well. Very much afraid of everything. And his question, do you think Prince is better than me? You know? And I would say, well, yeah, but Michael, you don't have an equal. Relax. There isn't an equal to you. There isn't anyone you need to be worried about. Mega fame, ultra fame is so destructive. Elvis Presley, self-destruction. Am I any good? That never goes away from the ultra famous person. Never goes away.
Would you describe yourself as ultra famous in that respect then?
I hope not. I don't want to be.
Do you think that's why you've avoided going down that path that some people inevitably have gone down?
I think my wife is the reason I didn't end up going down that path.
Well, Linda must be a huge source of strength for you. I mean,
she is. She's my daughter. Linda's I call her my coach because she is like a coach. She'll say, well, you know, you can do better than that, or that was great.
You get a real picture of how you live as a family. There are photos everywhere, not just of big names. I can see Michael Jackson over there. You know, and
it's a big family.
It's a huge family. You've got, you know, with 5 children. But do you ever sort of sit and think, Blimey, Linda, love. Look,
Of course I
what
do.
a life we've had.
Of course I do. And the memories are outrageous.
That unique voice, your unique talent that you've got, that's been a thread through so many of our lives, and obviously endures in this new work as well.
Thank you. I got to that point where I would sit on my own at night and listen to the album over and over again because I couldn't believe that it got to the point it got. That this to me was a good album. This was an album I'm proud of.
Are you fearing the onslaught of the big 7-0 as a rocker?
No, I feel my age though. I do, I feel it. I can do the same stuff, but it takes a lot more out of me now. Yeah. To keep
What's
the
touring
energy.
like when you? I mean, you guys have been touring for 50 years.
Well, we've had a bit of a renaissance. It's amazing with this young Adam Lambert guy. He has been great.